Hello and welcome to another episode of IV Backed. I am Austin Harrison and I am looking at some really fun crowdfunding games. If you haven't watched the show before, it's basically a show where I take a look at some crowdfunding campaigns that have launched. Usually today, sometimes it'll be an off day. Most projects launch on a Tuesday. If you didn't know this, but occasionally there are some that don't, and we'll try to cover those as well. But it's from a publisher's perspective. So I'm looking at games that I am excited about. It could be I'm excited about the game itself. It could be I'm excited about the page, and just kind of breaking down some of the decisions that they did. But usually it's me guessing. Obviously, I don't know exactly why they made decisions, but hopefully I have some fun insights that you guys can learn from if you're trying to maybe run a crowdfunding campaign. But even if you're not trying to run a crowdfunding campaign, and really the main audience for this is just general people that are interested in crowdfunding, trying to learn more about the industry so they understand the decisions that crowdfunders make. We're going to be looking at Unbreakable today, which is, of course, Too Many Bones Unbreakable, Senjutsu, Steam Up, and then technically I usually only cover 3 games. We are going to be looking at a couple of bonus games today just because I really would have covered them normally. It's just so much launch today that I needed to look more broadly at the what has launched. Alex Alex says, I'm glad to see you covering indie campaigns like that TMB game. They can use the exposure. Yeah, their booths at like Origins and Gen Con were so small. They barely had anyone in there. Of course, I'm being facetious. They had probably the biggest booth at Origins and a very large one at Gen Con as well. Of course, you have Wormwood Gaming. They're always the biggest booth, so maybe not the biggest booth, but Alex, you made it on time. Congratulations. I always forget I start this in the background and get spooked by who's talking. Kevin, it is Halloween almost, so you're welcome. I will try to start the Halloween episode in a very scary manner. Maybe I should cosplay for the Halloween episode. I don't know if you can see it. You can't. There is a Rebellion helmet right there. Yep, right there. It's a Rebellion A-Wing pilot's helmet, so maybe I could rock that for the Halloween episode. But Jonathan, thank you so much for joining. It's great to have you here. All right, so a few weeks ago, you might have been here. We tried a format where we did 3 different intros, and we were going to break them up and put them on YouTube. Honestly, I just haven't had time to focus on trying to expand the show because we've been so busy with the Mythic Mischief pledge manager and just getting all of that finished. All the files have been submitted on that for about 2 weeks, and I've just been dealing with random errors and stuff on GameFound. But I'm getting really, really close to doing 2 things as my job at IV, and that is focusing more on content and focusing more on game development. So if you are curious about our next games and just more of what I do, please join the Discord. There's a link for that. We're playtesting and talking about Kickstarters. Our Discord is not just for our games, it's for all games. And so we talk about awesome crowdfunding games all the time. So anyway, I'll stop talking your ear off and jump into some of these games. So, of course, first, the indie game, as Alex has talked about it, Unbreakable, Too Many Bones Unbreakable, very, very small studio called Chip Theory. I'm going to stop being sarcastic because I just don't know how many of you people are deep into the industry and understand that Chip Theory is a great company with a very large repertoire of great games. Is this their first game found? That's a good question. It is their first game found. Very, very far from their first crowdfunding campaign. And I think they may have broken the new record, funding in 1 minute and 30 seconds. I think the most recent, I was talking to the guys at GameFound. I think that ISS Vanguard did like 4.5 minutes or something. So this might be the new record holder. I have to ask. I've got to ask the GameFound guys if it broke it. But right away, first day, 1.1 million. It's going to do very possibly 2 million. I would not be surprised at all if it did more than that. There were 21,000 people following, almost 22,000. Game time. All right. So right at the start, they do something very different that I think is a really good idea. New to Too Many Bones. I have a confession. I have not played Too Many Bones. I know it is like a dice chucking RPG experience. And Aki says a Tomekeeper Austin cosplay. We actually wanted to do a Tomekeeper cosplay for Gen Con, but just didn't have time, unfortunately. That would have been incredible. And then Successful Geek says TMB, break my bankable. Yeah, it's not a cheap campaign. But first, new to Too Many Bones. Start here. I haven't played Too Many Bones. I obviously know about Too Many Bones. So I started here. I clicked here. If you don't do that, if you skip on past that, you see a really, really great art piece. I think this is wonderful. I love that they have this here. And then you get a more zoomed in look at components than I would say most campaigns do. Usually it's like a big like zoom out and you're just going to show you all the pretty stuff. I like that this is zoomed in. It definitely looks like digital photography, not an actual photo, but it's fine. Then they've got a little bit of lore, but let's say we didn't scroll down the page. Let's say we did click here. Now, a couple of cool things. One, navigates within GameFound, right? So I don't believe Kickstarter can do that. So I like this. We didn't do any of this for Mythic Mischief. I wish that we had. And the way they're doing that is you can actually link to certain type sections on the page. So if, for instance, I want to share someone our shipping section, I can go down the shipping section and share a link directly to that section, and it will navigate to the page and then scroll down. So that's how they did this. We are let's say like 7/10 of the way down the page. We're pretty far away down the page now. And now we see some really, really good stuff here. Now, I've talked in the past about building upon your laurels, right? Where you're like, you've got a bunch of good rewards, you've got a bunch of just notoriety from your former games. In this case, it's even more important because it's about the game that this is an expansion to. So I am very happy to see this. And it also makes sense that if you're new, you'd want to see this. But if you already know the game, you don't necessarily need to know it's a BGG top 50. Again, even though it's a good reminder, because you probably already know, you own the base game, you love it. That's why you're here. You are part of the community that made it the BGG top 50. So I think they could have had some of this up at the top, but having it here and having, a link of like, hey, we don't want to take a bunch of real estate going through all of this, but we do want to give it a spot on the page. So I think this is a really interesting approach. I've never seen someone do it this way where they've like hyperlinked on the same page to a place that kind of talks about the former experience, but gives you the original box, gives you some of the original stuff, get some of the cutout mats and stuff like that. So pretty cool. It also takes you to shut up, sit down, covers your stuff. You're going to put it on your page probably, unless they didn't like it. But usually if they're covering it, they usually tend to like those for their long videos. But anyway, something that was really interesting to me is there is a section down here that is Too Many Bones base game, and it is built out like it is a pledge section. Now, this is not something that is native to GameFound. This is something they have kitbashed to work. This is an image. And I've never seen this before. Somehow they figured out that they could hyperlink this image to add that to your pledge. And that is not something I was told was possible. I'm not even sure if GameFound came up with that or if they came up with that, because that is definitely not native to the app, right? That is not something it's not native to the website. It is something that they came up with as a way to make that a possibility, which I think is really cool. They're obviously experienced crowdfunders. They're like, I want a way to do this. So they made a screenshot. You can actually see the borders of the image that they screenshot, and and they put it there, which is pretty dang cool. I wish that I would have done that, because I would have done that for all of our different explanation sections. I would have said, like, click this image to add it to your pledge, just because otherwise you're limited on GameFound to just being in the one section. So I thought that was interesting. Looking at the shipping table, which is right here, is the next thing. I do think that's a little weird, because if I'm brand new to Too Many Bones, I've now seen the base game of Too Many Bones, and then I'm suddenly in shipping. So this is the downside of doing it the way they've done it. I don't think it's overall a negative. I do think this part of it is a negative, to where I'm not seeing the rest of the campaign at all. I'm just going right into shipping, and then I'm suddenly in, okay, I'm at the bottom of the page. I need to scroll back up. If you would just click that button, you'd suddenly be at the bottom. So that is the negative to having it here. But I do think it's good, especially if you think about it. And this is the caveat to that being a negative. If you think about it, their goal was to get you to add this to your pledge. And if you do that, you add that to your pledge. I'm not at the top. Interesting. If I do that and then click away, how did I get to the top last time? Okay, well, it's not going to do it again. But last time I started back up here somehow. I'm not quite sure how that happened. But very interesting. Let's continue through the page as normal. Okay. Nobulus, the evil Gearlock leader, is dead. So that is the initial lore. I'm assuming you know who that is if you've played the base game. I have not played the base game. Too Many Bones Unbreakable is the second standalone expansion to the hit dice builder RPG Too Many Bones. In addition to the classic mechanics found in every Too Many Bones title, Too Many Bones Unbreakable adds the lava battle mat, which encourages dynamic movement, more exciting, unpredictable battles as your Gearlock adventurers journey into the Break. I think that is it. The Break, probably. This font's a little hard to read, but it's also thematic. So, or at least the top part's thematic. So I'm not quite sure if I would have done this section this way, but overall, I really like that there's a good amount of theme just right at the beginning. I mean, we're still at the very top, very first thing. So I also love their what's in the box section. Anybody have any thoughts on this? Because I love it. I think that this is one of the most unique what's in the box sections I've ever seen. Dark Fox says, love the idea of playing around with hyperlinks for clever exposure to certain things. Very smart advertising. I agree. I really like how they did that. Kevin, they just put the same hyperlink as the base game product, and their site probably automatically changed it for web content pledge link image. Yeah, really interesting. But they definitely made their own. They screenshotted an image, put it down there, and then hyperlinked the image. So it was definitely a little bit of a kitbash of way to approach that. But I think it's really cool. Cool. So what's in the box? I think they have this really unique what's in the box section with a lot of like thematic stuff that I really like, but it's also got a good amount of close-ups, and it kind of shows you that it's a neoprene mat, but it also has like cutouts in it that go straight through, which I think is really interesting and cool. Not going to go through what all the different things are. It is a little bit easy to get lost in it as far as some of the stuff, just because there's some things that are definitely not components, but they obviously don't have the little tags next to them. So you're just following the tags around. All right, cool. Meet the new Gearlocks. We've got Gale and Figment. And then there are new Tyrants, Nexus, Gavin Cog, Domina, Cinder, and Rock and Roll. Now, Rock and Roll, I took the time to read about on my first pass through the page, so I wanted to come back to them just because they are stretch goal characters, which I think is interesting because we haven't seen any of the stretch goals yet here, right? So I'm definitely going to be looking out for that in the future. That's the first time I've seen anything about stretch goals. But then also their theme, their flavor text was fun. Together, troll siblings Rock and Roll, which I just love their name, managed to gain control of the I'm not going to try to say that name. Subterranean troll tribes. Since then, however, sibling rivalry has reared its ugly head, and the two trolls spend as much time undermining each other as they do stomping their enemies, which I thought would be funny. How to play. Basics. So a lot of white text here. Not really any GIFs or anything, but there are nice close-ups on the components. And sometimes that's what you're looking for. I'm going to walk that back. Most people are looking for GIFs, right? They want to kind of see what you're going to be doing on the page. However, this is an expansion. Most of their audience knows how to play the game. And so they've already have the mechanics down of what they will be doing in their turn and what each turn will be feeling like, showing them some of the new content and getting a really, really close-up look at, for instance, a player board that shows their stats and different things that they do to the point where you could read it might be the way to go, right? Because they already know the game. You don't need to teach them again, right? Now, would I love to have seen both? Probably. I think both would have been good. Why not both? Yeah. But I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. And we over design our pages. Like GameFound even was like, there's so much design on your page, it's going to take forever to load. And we're like, the internet's way faster than it was 3 years ago when that was a big deal. And page load times have not been an issue on Veiled Fate or on Mythic Mischief. So they were on Moonrakers though, and that's because of the number of GIFs. Everything was a GIF. So anyway, long story short. So yeah, what's new to Unbreakable? They've got this lava mat that I talked about above a little bit. I don't know how to play Unbreakable, so that doesn't really matter as much to me. All right, why pledge now? We talk about this all the time. Why pledge now sections are the most varied, like just scattered throughout every campaign. Almost every campaign has a why pledge now section, but sometimes it's at the top, sometimes it's at the bottom, sometimes at the middle. In this case, it is right above the pledge levels, which is, I think, probably makes the most sense, just from a placement issue. Usually it's a designed thing that's like bullet pointed. It's not here. This is a lot of text to read to figure out why you should pledge now. And so they're not having any problem with getting people to pledge though. So I can't critique it overly much, but if this was a new campaign, I would say this would be better as like at least having header text of like flat rate shipping in like big bold letters and all this different stuff. But I'm going to read through these just because I am curious and want to talk about it on stream. Cool. There are a lot of reasons to get into Too Many Bones Unbreakable right now, but here's one that affects your bottom line. The game will never, ever be cheaper than we're offering right now. We sell our crowdfunding games at a discount during their initial campaigns, and that includes keeping the projected MSRP as low as possible. After campaign fulfillment, not only does the game price move to match MSRP, but often the MSRP is immediately increased as well. So again, there will never be more inexpensive time to get on board. So that's the first thing, cheaper. Second one, Chip Theory games, crowdfunds, campaigns. All right, crowdfunding campaigns are a place of community, communication, and collaboration. We view our backers as important sources of feedback to our games as they develop. And there's one way in particular in which they really affect the final product, stretch goals. Every stretch goal added during the campaign is added to the title permanently, so backing the game now will make it better for all players as long as Chip Theory exists. Another cool thing. Finally, backing Chip Theory game during the campaign means that you'll be among the first to play it, so first to get it. So stretch goals, first to play it, cheaper, and then finally, we are currently still offering flat rate shipping both on our site and in our campaigns. That may not be the case forever. So if you don't know, Chip Theory has done and is doing something called flat rate shipping. It does not matter how much stuff you order. They are charging you the same rate no matter what you order. We do the same thing, actually. If you ordered the biggest box or like the biggest thing of Mythic Mischief, which would have been the backpack, the all-in back-to-school pledge, basically, it was the same shipping as it was if you got the little box. We didn't do a big enough job talking about that. In fact, people thought it was an error. They're like, oh, this is, well, what am I going to pay on shipping when I've got this big pledge? And we're like, oh, it's the same. And they're like, well, it doesn't look like that. We should have done something like this. And this is wonderful. Affordable flat rate shipping, no matter the size of your order. Learn more. So if you click on that, we go to the shipping section. So they've done a really good job on hyperlinking within their page. All right. Where are we now? Hyperlink within your page makes me get lost. Okay, talking about the rewards levels. Liz, still an expensive game, even with the discounts. Yes, it is. Definitely. Hi, Debbie. I agree. The what's in the box is wonderful. What's up, Dane? Good to have you here. Okay, cool. So save $20 off of MSRP. The Unbreakable hero. Get all of the new Too Many Bones gameplay content debuting in the Unbreakable campaign. Click the more info for a list of all included items. This pledge does not include shipping. See our shipping section for more detail. So we open this up and we have kind of an example of all the different things you get. But Too Many Bones, Carcass, Too Many Bones, Static, Too Many Bones, Polaris, Too Many Bones, Rage of Tyranny, Too Many Bones, Unbreakable, the Standalone, and Too Many Bones, 40 Waves, and Daylore. Is that how you say it? Or you can just get the standalone. It's $85 there. You're saving $5 instead of $20, but you are getting the flat rate shipping there, which honestly, flat rate shipping there is probably, that is the shipping that you would pay for this box. Everything past that is the flat rate shipping that you're getting the bonuses on. So I was going to say, as much as, the stingier person inside of me is like, oh yeah, well, I only really need that piece of content if I have the base game. And then I can get the rest of the stuff later if I like this. If you want to save money on the shipping and on the MSRP discounts, if you're going to get it eventually, get it now because you'll save all that money later. But Too Many Bones has like one of those situations of just being a lot of people's favorite game, and makes sense that they would have this as the featured one, right? Where it's all the new content. They already have backed their other games. This is the one that's been pledged almost 3,000 times compared to 509 times. They're doing a great job at converting above where they're at. June 22 is a very fast delivery. That tells me that these are already done, basically. And I do wonder how stretch goals will impact that. I mean, we literally just got off the phone with Panda, and it's like trying to get Mythic Mischief printed before Chinese New Year at this point is extremely difficult. And so it's just like, and luckily we factored in if we can't get it in before Chinese New Year, it's fine. We'll still deliver on time. But man, like that is June 22 is fast, especially if they have to make new content for stretch goals. So I wonder how much of that stretch goal content is already done. All right, moving on though. Too Many Bones base game is $130 and does not include shipping. Strategist, this is an interesting, I've actually talked about this on a different campaign of theirs. They have this pledge level on, I think, all of their crowdfunding campaigns, and it's get Unbreakable and a copy of every future base game Chip Theory crowdfunds. This pledge does not include shipping. See our shipping section for more details on aggressive flat rates. What this means is you get in here and you will get a base game for every game they ever make. It's just like you pay $650 now, but for as long as Chip Theory exists, you will get a base game of every crowdfunding campaign they ever do. So pretty cool. Unless they stop crowdfunding next year, but I don't think they're going to do that to their backers. From what I know, those people are very happy with their decision, at least the people that got in a long time ago, because they've probably made money on that by now. I'm sure you can add on the rest of the stuff in the Pledge Manager. I'd be surprised if you couldn't. Just enough bones, about the same cost. Get all conventionally released playable content in the Too Many Bones line. So this is all the normal content. You're getting all of it. And then there's this massive $1,100 pledge level, and it's all upgrades of gameplay content, which is just so huge. Just look at all the stuff in this. It is a ton of stuff. Like, I can't even begin to parse this out as worth it or not, just because it's like, well, how much does the each pledge level or the book or, you know, these promo packs, like how much does that actually cost? It's so much. There's a tower in here. It's beautiful, but it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. This would have to be beyond my favorite game to back at that level, but it's still a really cool level, and 120 people have done that, which means they're at, like, you know, 100 and, I don't know how much, it's over 120,000. So that's incredible. So they definitely, it was good that they did it. They're getting people that want it. So that's great. I wonder what their average pledge level is going to be from that, because it's going to be a lot of it. Dark Fox, that's a lot of bones. I would say that is, in fact, too many bones. It probably is too many bones, but that's the name of the game, right? So that's totally fine. A lot of add-ons. We're going to skip through this. It does give you an idea of how much that stuff actually has. $20 for the tower that we just looked at, for instance. Money, welcome to the show. How many Calyx slots is that? That is I mean, how big is just this box? It's got to say. It doesn't say, but it's a lot. It's 4 Calyxes, 5 Calyx slots. I don't know. Someone that has all this, please tell us. Hey, Successful Geek, which level did you back at? Please tell me it was the 1100 one, because based on this comment, it makes me think it was, and I'm not going to judge you at all. If this is one of your favorite games, do it. If you haven't played before, don't do it. Don't do it unless you're just going to sell it, which it probably would sell. Oh, we're at stretch goals. Okay. 20 out of 27 unlocked. Okay, so there's a thing that GameFound does, and I really want them to change it. I just don't like this section, because as a publisher, you're always adding more stretch goals. And so it looks like they are capped at 27 stretch goals right now, right? And so, I mean, are there even any that haven't unlocked? Oh, they're right here. Okay. So there's 40,000 remaining on this, 90,000 remaining on this. So in $300,000, they will be out of stretch goals. They're going to add more stretch goals. I think they were planning on funding well over what they're at now. And so they have stretch goals planned. And if they're delivering in June, all the stuff's already made. And a lot of these stretch goals are just cards, right? They're not content that's really hard. And in fact, the cards are done because they're here. You can see them. That's not lorem ipsum. Like, this stuff is already designed and done. It's already planned to be a part of the game. And that's why stretch goals are smoke and mirrors, but people love them. And I think that's great. And publishers are smart to keep doing them because people love them. But they are fake. These are already made. But yeah, they have to be if they want to deliver by June. Okay. Pledge Manager product catalog. Interesting. I didn't look at this. All right, so this is the first thing that takes us off the page. I wonder, I was going to say, I wonder if we're going to see some Victorium and some Cloudspire and some other stuff. So that's cool. You can actually get more of their other games through the Pledge Manager. So cool. Good for them. Cool. And then we're back to where we were, and we've seen the rest of it. One other thing I wanted to talk about is the shipping section is flat rate. We've had a lot of questions. I'm going to chat stretch goals people real fast. Successful Geek says, with the trophy chest, it's 1 Calyx. Okay, I already have everything, so just the 220 level. Nice. Dave, do we need more stretch goals? I mean, this is going to raise another bajillion dollars. But Dave, they have so many more stretch goals than what is there. They have to. There's just no chance they don't. They're just releasing it in waves. Yeah, 100%. And then that catalog is how I'm going to manage to get those out of print TBM things that I want 100%. It's a great way to do it. All right, shipping, taxes, and VAT. So I have seen a lot of comments on our campaigns and on other people's campaigns recently that made me second guess how we were doing this. Luckily, I think we were doing it right. But people were saying, "Hey, I saw those custom friendly tags on your page, but then you charged that. Like that's misleading." And I was like, "No, like it's two different things." So anyway, taxes and VAT. This campaign, we're continuing the practice we started in 2019 by offering fixed rate shipping. No matter how much you buy in this campaign, no matter how much it weighs, you will get the same flat, affordable rate for your region. Based on where you live in the world, there are two separate taxes related to shipping your games. The first is customs duty. Customs duty is levied by all governments upon our product's entry into a given country. In countries where we are customs friendly, shipping from a distributor within that region, we calculate and pay all of those charges and do not pass them on to you. That is what we also do, and they've explained it better than I have ever explained it in one paragraph. And so I am stealing this, Chip Theory, and thank you. Moving on. The second is sales tax / VAT. This tax varies from region to region, and we are required to collect these taxes in accordance with each country's laws, and will be collected in the pledge manager period of the campaign. Tax / VAT information can be seen below. United States, United Kingdom, European Union, and then they talk about fulfillment. So I'm literally going to right click and, well, I'll do it later, but save that image for future use because it's great. Yeah, wonderful. Great job by them. Refunds, cancellation section, risk and challenges section. So, yep. Great campaign. Now, what is it missing? There is two videos if you count this top thing, right? There is a 2-minute video here that is all lore, and then a shut up and sit down video about their last game. This campaign page has 0 external verification beyond what people think about the base game. And I think that's really interesting. Like, has anyone played the expansion? Have any of the influencers that we're used to seeing on pledge manager crowdfunding campaigns seen these? Have they played it? Have they touched the components? Have they been shipped sample copies? Like, I'm just curious if anyone's played it and they're just going to release that over the next few days, or if this is just the only people who have played it are Chip Theory, right? So I think that's really weird to not see at least 2 or 3 influencers or other, other people showing the gameplay in a video, or at least reviewing the gameplay in a video. I think that's really odd. Kevin says, I guess they are so big that they don't need influencer support. That was going to be my next point. They are at $1.1 million, right? Like, they didn't need the influencers to get there. But I do think it's weird. It's not like it's a cost thing. Was the risk worse than the payoff? Like, if people didn't like it, if a reviewer didn't like that, would it hurt it more than a reviewer saying they did like it, right? And that's a chance that you're going to take. When you give a reviewer a game, you are not paying them to say they like it. Like, we are very, very lucky that people loved Mythic Mischief, right? We flew them, in a lot of cases, to Nashville to play the game. And if they didn't like it, we're going to have a lot of useless content that we spent a lot of money on, right? And luckily it was the opposite. A lot of them gave it 5 out of 5. That was a risk that we took. Are they so big that they don't need to take that risk to get the word out? Apparently. I still think it's odd that it's not on the page at all. Not a single video of gameplay or people playing it. You have no idea whether people think it's fun. No idea at this point. It's got to be coming. They have to have some videos coming. You don't have to share their videos if you don't like what they said about it, right? I mean, it's going to be their audience, but still, I found it very weird that it's not here at all, really at all. But that's fine. That it's a calculated risk, I think, on their part. It's not like they forgot. It's not like they're a first-time creator that didn't know. I think they chose not to. But that's interesting. Tark Fox. They're at the point where simply the name is advertising enough. It's true. Kevin, I guess there's a bit of mystery to the backers, which kind of builds the hype. Yeah, it could do that, and I think it definitely does that for some people. But like, I get hyped about a game when I see people play it and then they're having fun playing it, and then I'm like, oh, I like that person's opinion. I'm gonna have fun playing it. I watched 7 playthroughs of Star Wars Rebellion before I bit the bullet and bought it. And that was before IV was buying games, so it was like I bought it at $100+ at the time. So yeah, yep. I think it's just odd. But like I said, other hand, 101,000. So they're cruising. They're cruising. We are going to back this. I think we're going to back it for Unbreakable and for the base game because I want to play it. I want to play both of them. Probably not the $1,100 the $1,100 pledge. I think Sam might have a few questions for me about that if I did that. Successful Geek giving me some insight here. No one played the last expansion until well after the campaign. Good to know. And I'm assuming people liked it because they're back to back this one. Yep. All right, cool. That's Too Many Bones. It's very popular. They have a great page. I really like some of the hyperlink things that they did. I love their what's in the box section. I love this opening image and the flavor text on a lot of the different parts. But overall, this is a short page for this big of a game, right? Like it is half stretch goals and what's in the box and pledge levels. And that's fine. They obviously don't need the rest of it. So cool. All right. On to Senjutsu. I think I am saying that correctly, but you never know sometimes. Battle for Japan. I personally really like I like Japanese history. I played a lot of like Total War games that are based in this era. And I'm really happy to see this is doing well. United Kingdom based company. I think they've had a couple other games. Forgive me. I should know this already. Stone and Sword 3 created. Okay, so they did Hogs of War. Do you guys remember that one? That was great. And then an earlier Hogs of War that was canceled, maybe? Nope, it says 680 backers. So yeah. Senjutsu seems like their first, I think it is their own IP versus so Hogs of War, which is based on another video game. So okay. So starting off up at the top, they've got a great miniature here. I think it's a great choice to feature the miniature and the box image so prominently. Also like that these things fit in with the graphic. They're not just like a green sticker pasted on there, which is often what happens with images. So early pledge has a free ninja add-on. The first 48 hours is there in the asterisk. Funded in 5 minutes, 6 stretch goals, 22,000% funded. I do not like percentage funded, just because it is completely reliant on what your original funding goal was, and that's not really standard across the industry at all. But yeah, Aaron, going back to Too Many Bones, says if you're gonna have one video though, Shut Up, Sit Down is the one to have. True, Aaron, but it was not for Unbreakable. It was for Too Many Bones, the base game. I don't count that. I don't think. So yeah. Tomer K and they Chip Theory Games publish their own how to play and playthroughs. I wish they were on the page. Yeah, I would have been fine with that. I want to see someone playing it. But that's just personal opinion. They're at $1 million+. They're going to do 3-4 million. They don't need my opinion. I think I usually when I'm talking about like a CMON game, I'll say like that as a disclaimer. Like this is my opinion. They obviously know better than I do because their games are way bigger than our games. So take it with a grain of salt as far as my opinion on it. It's surprising that there wasn't any gameplay. But yeah, going back to Senjutsu. Battle for Japan, a tense, fast-playing samurai dueling game with beautiful miniatures, expansive deck crafting mechanics, and memorable showdowns. Right away, you have a little bit of like the time period of like where we're at. Centuries-old authority of the, I cannot say some of these names, but the shogunate has collapsed, casting feudal Japan into brutal civil war. Clan has turned upon clan as daimyos, local liege lords, struggle to accumulate power and prestige. Has a solo and cooperative and competitive, which I think is great to have that high up. 20 minutes is surprising. It's there too. 20 minutes is so fast, Austin. Tomer, thank you. It is so fast. If that's true, that's really cool that they have like, yeah, it's got some guys on the map, but it's a dueling game. Like it's not like a grand strategy game. But 20 minutes is so short. 14 plus. Actually didn't see what Too Many Bones said. It's got to be 14 plus, right? Where's a box image? It's too small. Well, I shouldn't have come back. I cannot read it. I have no idea if that's 14 plus or not, but I'm curious. All right. A few things I really like right off the bat. Their color scheme is great. I really like this, like, cherry blossom. It's very Japanese, mixed with the white background. I think it fits into the Kickstarter landscape very well. And I like that they're right away saying they've got 3 different game modes. Really, really cool way of doing this. Confirmed languages. We got English, we got Spanish, and we got, I believe that's Chinese, right? And then languages and negotiation. So they've got, German, French, and some other ones, Italian. I think it's Polish. As to be, hey, like it kind of depends on how the campaign goes on whether or not we're going to include those. We should have done this on both Veiled Fate and Mythic Mischief. We didn't do it on Mythic Mischief because of being on GameFound. GameFound has a much larger European audience, but Europeans also like more European style games, right? They like Euro games, so it's called a Euro game. And so we really weren't sure how it was going to do in Europe, and it did okay. But not enough to justify some of the language that we offered. French and German, yes. Italian, not really, right? Spanish, there's a lot of uses for Spanish in the future. Polish, probably not. So we wish we'd have started with English, German, French, and had the other ones on, unlocked at a certain number of backers or something like that. So I like the way they're doing this. I think that's very smart. And honestly, that could mean that they're in negotiation with other people, not just whether it's dependent on how well they're backing. So a lot of companies, we don't do it this way. We translate our own games and do versions of our own games and deliver them in the countries because we're VAT certified and stuff like that. But a lot of companies, smaller companies, will work with partners that produce the games separately, either on different production lines or the same production line, and will translate it for you and then deliver it through their own company. So they take ownership of your game and then deliver it to backers. The reason you do that is you avoid having to be VAT registered in a lot of places. You also don't have to worry about the translation, the localization of the game, but you do lose out on some of the profitability of that and then future control of that version of the game. But it's a really great way to get into other regions that you wouldn't have been able to otherwise and to make some money because you are making a percentage of that. So cool. Aaron, after you said they were UK based and I checked, they include a large number of cultural consultants on their team page. Hey, I was going to get to that, so I'm excited that you brought it up. When you are dealing with a culture that is not your own, it is advisable at the very least to have a cultural consultant from that culture, not just any cultural consultant, but from that culture to help you on the game at the very least, so that if there is a concern, you can point to that team member and say, hey, we've relied upon their expertise to make this decision. Now, Veiled Fate has cultural representations, right? It's not even cultural representations. We have inclusion of different people groups to do representation versus we're not, making a game based in Japan or based in Africa, but there were characters that were based on certain regions. But we completely changed the lore. We completely changed. I would say that it's not appropriation at that point. It's a longer conversation. I shouldn't even brought it up, but there's a difference between taking things that look like things in our world and bringing them into a fantasy world, as long as you're being respectful of them, versus, hey, I'm going to base a game in this time period when I am not of that culture. So I think having cultural representation or a consultant is very, very important on a team in that case. So thanks for bringing that up, Aaron. What's in the box? So right away, they show these minis, and these are beautiful. The level of detail on these, I really want to get closer to these, but I just don't want to mess up everything. But go to the page and look at these. I really, really hope they can get this level of detail in their final miniatures. Sometimes your 3D renders just look so much better than your final minis do, just because of constraints on what can be done in assembly and production. Something called undercutting is a big issue where, you can't get your molds out because there's separation between, the sword and the guy's head. And so there's no way to get that mold out of that, or that mini out of that mold. And so you end up doing multiple pieces that then fit together and have to be assembled. And so it ends up being, kind of a hard, big deal to assemble them. But there are new ways. They do molds in silicone now and a bunch of different ways of doing these minis. So who knows where they're having them printed, but I'm really curious to see final photographs of those. So yeah, 32 millimeters large, tall, I suppose. All right. This is a great what's in the box section. I wish I remembered to put a nice box image at the top of my box section, what's in the box sections, because I do think this is really nice. They have a very beautiful box cover, so I think it is great to feature again here. And then this fifth miniature is the early pledge. I wonder if in 48 hours or whenever they said that would change, if they will replace this entire what's in the box section, how they will handle that. Because at this point, you've got one box that theoretically holds all 5 minis, but after the first 48 hours, you have a box that is a separate production run now that does not have this mini in it. So is it different trays? Are there trays at all? These are all questions that I'm asking my head while I'm looking down the page, because this is going away, right? It's not going to be in every pledge. I'm sure it'll be an add-on after that, but how are they going to work that in? I'm curious. So I need to come back to this page next week and look back. Remind me, if you're watching next week, to come back and do that. I would love to. So you've got a bunch of different cards, asymmetrical character cards. I don't see too much about it being asymmetrical before this. I think that that's cool, but I might want to feature it somewhere else than just in the, what's in the box section. So, all right. Path of the Ronin solo narrative campaign. Really, really cool. The artwork for it is really nice. Just a really, really cool section. I believe that's a book, but it's not super apparent that it's a book right away. So I might want to see like some furled, other page, something there, just so I know what that is. But the cover of it is very cool, if a little bit gory. All right. Love this. And I want to talk about this. This battlefield is snow on one side and then burning village on the other. So most print production for boards, it is the same cost to have one piece of art on one side, the same piece of art, or a different piece of art on the back, because they're going to have to put something on the back. If it's just black, then it's basically the same as if you had done a double-sided board. What you're paying for is the art. Artwork is very expensive. During the campaign for Veiled Fate, people were like, hey, can you do a different art version on the back of the board? We said no, but it wasn't for production cost reasons. It was for art cost reasons. That board is huge and extremely detailed and was one of the most expensive things we have ever made at our company, as far as a single piece of art goes. It was very, very difficult. So doing a second one, we were just like, it's not possible for us to do from a cost standpoint. But this is a much simpler thing, right? It's just like a snowy battlefield and a singed burning village battlefield. And so I think it's wonderful that they took the time to do another piece of art and have that on the flip side. I'm assuming it's on the flip side. It doesn't say it's on the flip side, but that would be my guess from a cost standpoint. I could be totally wrong. Another thing that they're doing that I really like, on their stretch goals, when they unlock them, they go back from the stretch goal and they put it in the what's in the box, which is very, very intelligent from a continuing to sell more of them. Just showing people that. Also, this 3D cherry blossom terrain is gorgeous. It is awesome. I love it. Aaron says, honestly, I thought this was another Awakened Realms game. Given the quality of detail in the minis, the key giveaway there is it's not on Game Found, and that's Awakened Realms thing. But totally, the mini quality is incredible, especially coming from a company that's not done that before. Hogs, well, I can't remember the name of the game is, but did not have minis of this quality. I also just really, really like this. I'm confused at how they're going to get the blossoms at the base of the tree. I wonder if that is just temp art or if that is this is exactly what it will look like. It says it's 3D blossom terrain, but that I don't quite see how that works. It almost just looks like they took the artwork, put a standee on the artwork, and called that done. Obviously it's not cut out, so maybe that's big cut out and it's fine. But yeah, that's just me nitpicking again. It says art not final right here. Austin, you got to read. It should say art not final up here because it caused me to question what that will look like. But they have it right there, and that's fine. So good job, team. All right. Then we've got a few more coming up at 210,000 pounds and 240,000 pounds. I would recommend they put that in US dollars as well, because I have no idea where we're at. I don't do conversions to euros or pounds, that fast in my head. So they should probably have a pound and a euro and a US dollar conversion, just because it's not doing that automatically for us, obviously. It'd be really nice to know how close we were to that. Pounds are much bigger than dollars, though. So, cool. Oh, hey, they even answered my other question right here. The Path of the Ronin solo narrative campaign is a beautiful campaign book. Meets graphic novel told from the perspective of samurai living in the period. As they wander through the tumultuous land, they'll be tested and have to fight to survive. 45 minutes, dang it. The outcomes of your effort will shape the narratives as it unfolds and change your samurai's ability to play. Social stretch goals. Man, they got stretch goals on social goals. This is great. Board Game Geek stretch goal, and they'll get a Core Jade ability card and 2,000 Facebook likes and another ability card. All right, so when you don't know the game, I would say ability cards just don't matter quite as much because you just don't know what those are. And Too Many Bones card expansions where people know what those cards can do, I think matter a little bit more. So I might explain a little bit more of what this is. Also, it says click on this image to go there now, and it doesn't work. Really, really super easy to fix. They can definitely fix this in like 5 minutes. It's just how long will it take to realize it. There's always something on a Kickstarter page that is supposed to be hyperlinked and it's forgotten. I myself have launched campaigns where I've forgotten to do a hyperlink. Someone comments on it. I'm like, yeah, the rulebook image, you can't click on it right now. That's a major issue because you need to click on that to go to the download place. So this is pretty normal. It does not show a lack of forethought on their part. Obviously, they planned on it being that. It'll probably be fixed today. If you click the dollar symbol by the amount, it will convert for you. Beep. Yes, it will, but this won't. This won't convert for me, and I want to know what this is. It would just be easier to have them in both. Tiago, I did not say that right. Tiago Sousa says, design on the cards kind of disappoint me. I didn't feel that way. I think that the artwork on everything else is so great. I think these cards look great. I see. I mean, this is pretty simple cards. Like, right? There's not like a custom piece of art for each card, but I mean, these are cool. These like backgrounds that they have. I don't have a problem with the artwork in the cards personally. Yeah, it didn't stand out to me as something I was like, oh man, I really wish they changed that. I actually think this is really cool. The base ability cards and how they kind of mirror each other. I think that's really neat. But yeah, every person's different. I do want to point out Ivory 310 GSM cards is the upgrade. Not going to say any more about that, but cool. Add-ons. So we've got 4 new characters that you can add on. It looks like in packs of 2. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. So they've got the conversions done here for us. So $25, you get 2 new minis that also look incredible. So it'd be $50 for 4 new minis. Which is a lot of money, but molds are very expensive to make. Having extra packaging, all that kind of stuff. It's really expensive to produce things right now, guys. Like, yeah, quotes that we got for Moonrakers went up by $2. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but you multiply that by 10 and it's suddenly 10,000 and suddenly becomes really a lot. In 3 months, we got a quote done in December, and then we got a quote done in, I think it was February or March, and the price went up like $2 to $3. And we were just like, okay, we'll buy it now so it doesn't go up anymore. And that was like way last year. So paper costs more, shipping costs more, everything is costing more right now. So it's going to be hard because we're going to go through this curve of people are going to be like, this campaign's overpriced, but then every campaign after that is going to be overpriced too, unless the people are just not very in with how much things are costing to produce. So things are just getting more expensive. It sucks. Inflation sucks, especially when you're on the production side of things, like being the person that's telling people it's going to cost more, but things are getting more expensive. $25 is a lot for 2 characters, but I think that it is probably the right amount of money to charge personally. So yeah. Cool. Gameplay here. Here are our gifts. Ability cards. Oh, that was a nice little unfurl. Some gifts go way too fast. It's just like, I have no idea what is happening. This gift does not do that for me. It's nice pace. It lets me see kind of like what I'm going to be doing. You've got different grade of different cards. That's interesting. The tree. All right. So they've got like a little disc here that's telling you different things that you're moving around. I don't quite understand that. I'm not going to read it all just because I don't find that to be super interesting content for you. This is interesting. So you're playing cards that are letting you perform actions. Looks like you might be dueling with the cards. So maybe like there's like an initiative count. Gameplay is straightforward and fast. Simply choose an ability card from your hand and play it face down. Simultaneously reveal this ability card alongside the opponents with the highest initiative value active first. Good guess, Austin. Highest initiative. Senjutsu doesn't just reward the fastest card either. Going last opens up tactically. I think it's a little bit of a typo there, but I'm also guilty of that. So opens up tactical opportunities for cunning movements and devastating attacks. Yeah, this is really, really cool. I'm excited for this. I usually am excited for the games we cover. I'm either excited about the page or excited about the game itself. In this case, I'm excited for both. I think this will be fun. I think it'll be fast. And I think it's going to be like a little bit of like just trying to outsmart your opponent on which card you're playing. I love things with initiatives in them. I love that part of games like, and this is a very, very different game. But Gloomhaven, I love initiative, like trying to figure out what other people are going to play and how we should play it. But yeah, $49 for the base game is not bad at all. Early deluxe pledge is going to be $69, and that comes with a slipcase, a neoprene mat, the metal rings. I'm guessing those are plastic rings in the base game, and plus all unlocked stretch goals. Plus unlocked stretch goals included, and all core unlocked stretch goals. I guess there are 2 levels of stretch goals. Nice neoprene mat. Neoprene mat is square or rectangular. The board itself is not. It's got this edge, like these hex grid edges. That's probably just a production ease thing. I never tried to make a non-standard neoprene mat, so no idea. Cool. Winds of Change, Solo Narrative Campaign 2. Ooh, artwork coming soon. So they just inverted this artwork. They got more artwork coming. It's the same piece of artwork. Cool. All right, reviews. Hey, look, there's videos. I'm guessing these are a lot of European people. I don't recognize as many of them as I'm used to recognizing. Obviously, the Hungry Gamer, I know. But I don't know some of these other ones. One Stop Co-op Shop I've heard of as well. Who's this? Not Board Gaming. Heard of Not Board Gaming as well. Cool. Really, really neat. Better look at each of the minis. Yeah, Age of Adam, $25 for 2 models. Sounds expensive for a board game, but is normal cheap for miniatures game like Marvel Crisis Protocol. Funny how that works. Yeah, it really is funny how that works. I mean, these models are very, very nice. Very, very nice. Very, very detailed. Just the sculpting cost alone, a lot of people forget to include that on a small game like this. Like, it's very expensive to do these high quality sculpts. Then you have to pay for the mold. I mean, you're already $10,000 to $20,000 in the hole after you talk about the artwork, the gameplay, the box, like the tray, before you even start selling any, right? Like that's not even per unit. That's just like sunk costs in the. It's probably more like 10, but still, it's a lot. Like when you're adding an expansion, it's not just, yeah, we just made another one and we'll throw it out there. Like it's expensive to add an expansion to a game. And if you only sell like 500 of them, you might not even break even. So yeah, it's a risk. Cool. Gonna skip through these, even though they're absolutely beautiful. Hey, you can play on Tabletop Simulator. Anyone want to play on TTS sometime soon? I would do that. 20 minutes. That's easy. Meet the team. Sculptors. Stone Sword Games. There's 2 guys at the top. And then it looks like a lot of different freelancers and people. Cultural consultants. They definitely look like they know Japanese culture. I can't tell you just by looking at them where they live or anything, but they look right to me. Obviously, I don't know who those people are, so you would have to do your own research. But really cool that they did that. A voice actor and cultural consultant. So they definitely have a few of those, which is great. Really, really cool. Using BackerKit. BackerKit's great. Oh. Plan with these series is Daimyo and Yugen. Daimyo 22-2 is a 4X army and empire control strategy game where you control a daimyo, a leader, a warlord, or one of the rival clans trying to secure and unite Japan. Yugen is a cooperative narrative-based miniature dungeon crawler set with the Iga War. Playing as a ninja, you defend your homeland and free the people of Japan, formidable forces of the Oda clan. this is cool. I've never seen a game announce 2 more games in the game that they are currently running. Really, really neat. Very cheap shipping to UK. It's because it's never mind. It's in pounds. US dollars, US and Canada. Canada is a little low. US is probably, I would say it's a little low too. Actually, I think they're subsidizing a little bit because all these prices look a little bit low. Rest of world, especially, that's way too low. I mean, just sending a game of Moonrakers to like somewhere in Africa is like $120, right? Like that. They're just not selling very many probably to the rest of the world, so they're not worried about it. But that's extremely low. VAT. I mean, you won't have to pay any additional custom fees or VAT upon the arrival of your game. All right. Oof. I don't know if I agree with this, but this is not my place to necessarily say. But I guess I'm breaking a rule right here. I don't know. On a core pledge of 35, let's go to the bigger ones. It's like $65, $69. I can't remember what it was. $68. There it is. $68 in, let's say this is going to be in the UK. Well, let's not use the UK because it's in the UK. So let's use Germany. So in Germany, $70. So 20% of that, what is that? $15? $15, a little bit less, like let's say $13, $12. Immediately, just right out the door goes to that. And it's actually more than that because you pay shipping on that first. So did I pass shipping? Okay, shipping to the European Union is $12, so that's going to be an $80 game. So you're just right away, is it $16, $17, $18? Eating that cost. And usually that's your profit margin right there. So, I mean, compared it to the United States, where it's the same shipping cost, but you're making $20 more per game, maybe a little bit less. So let's call it $18. Plus, I'm like, so usually when you see VAT included, you see a really high shipping cost. So that actually really surprised me. I think that's going to eat up a lot of their profit of the game by doing that. But yeah, hopefully they sell the most copies in the United States and not have to worry about it. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. The header is USD, but the first item there is £8. Yep, agreed. It's a little weird, but I mean, it makes sense that they want to show their core audience. They're in the UK. They want to show their core audience in pounds. But that maybe I would have also put US dollars there and then put pounds next to it, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, what do I think? 1, I'm extremely excited. Where did it go? I passed it. I'm extremely excited for this Daimyo game, Daimyo and Yugen. Senjutsu looks really fun, and I think I'm really going to enjoy it. It's also snappy. It's fast. It's tactical. I'm going to love it. I am a 4X gamer. Love 4X games. Going to back everyone I can get a chance to. And so I'm really excited about that. All right, table that. I think the artwork is great. I think the miniatures are great. I think the playtime is great. And I think their page is really good. So really, really excited for them. Already almost $300,000 in their first day. This could easily be anywhere between 500 and $1 million. And so they're cruising. I think it's a really, really great game. So really, really piped for them. Trying to think, what did Hogs of War do? Only 112,000 pounds. So they are crushing their last campaign. Crushing it. Where were they at on stretch goals? I wonder if they were expecting to do this well. Yeah, I think that they at least had a plan to do potentially this well because it's 240. Oh, hey, they just did a stretch goal. They just hit the Riverbank battlefield. Congratulations. Yeah, really, really cool game. I'm excited for it. All righty. Moving on to Steam Up. Man, I forgot. I have like 3 other games I want to touch on. I'm not going to have time. It's already an hour in. I took too long on the other campaigns, y'all. Okay, Steam Up, A Feast of Dim Sum. All right, I love dim sum. I love getting dim sum. There's some Nashville places that can do it. I love going to Seattle and going to some places with my brother-in-law to eat it, but it is super fun, and it is not the first. I have seen other dim sum games. Okay, this is not the only one, but I think the components look really nice. So I wanted to cover it. They're in Vancouver, Canada. This is their first game, I believe. Hot Banana Games. First created, 35 back. First off, great job backing 35 other games before you launched a game. That is the correct way to go about it. 1,400 backers, $82,000. Yeah, some really cool things about this page. Some really beautiful decisions just on the artwork and the components. So I wanted to cover it. And so we are, even though there's 2 other games that I probably should have covered over this one. Also, they have a lot of awards. I think the last game we talked to that had awards like this was Distilled. They had the 2020 versions. I think most of these awards as well. They won the Ion Award, so congratulations to them. 2 to 5 players, 40 to 60 minutes, 14 plus. There it is. It just makes me happy when other people do 14 plus because I just don't understand 12 plus or 13 plus, but it's fine. It's fine. Everything is awesome. Commonly translated as touching the heart, dim sum are bite-sized dishes served served in bamboo steamer baskets or on small plates. This cuisine is commonly enjoyed in the morning or early afternoon and shared amongst family and friends. A competitive medium to lightweight dim sum collection board game for 2 to 5 players. All right. Devin, if you don't know Devin, he's one of the Quackalope people, mostly writing for them right now. This is the Quackalope blog. A feast of dim sum that hits the tongue like an umami bomb of tabletop flavor. Devin's got the words. He's got all the words. Nice work, Devin. All right, so you're choosing a character. You are moving the steamers with dim sum you crave into your feast zone. All right. Rondels are cool. I like rondels. I want to see this in person because I have seen rondels done extremely well, and I've seen rondels extremely poorly. Dave says, if they have little custard tarts, I am sold. But yes, Merchants of the Dark Road is the game that I am most excited about the rondel. They have double layer or maybe even triple layer boards, right? That sandwich together with magnets in the middle. So if you look at the board, you do not see the magnet. You see no exposed layer that you're like, this has magnets inside of it. And then the board, the base board, has the same thing. And so you don't know there's a magnet in there until you put it on the board and then it snaps in and it spins perfectly. It is gorgeous. If you backed Merchants of the Dark Road, be so excited for that because it is amazing. I hope that is how they do this. Who knows how they're going to do it? Doesn't say how it's happening, but really, really cool. Gain and spend food tokens to purchase steamers. These tokens are essential to purchase dim sum in front of you on the table. All right, so then you get the tray. Place the dim sum onto your animal board to score points. Animal board, not animal board. Draw and play fortune cards. These cards can bring you great fortune and shift the game in your favor. Ooh. All right. An event occurs every round to bring new excitement to the table. Each player gains 1 token of their choice of a type they do not have. That's fun. Y'all, I'm really excited about this. My play group's going to love this. They really are. Ooh, some great people. We got Meeple University. We got Before You Play. Monique and Naveen, if you know them. We got Dice Tower. What else do we got? I'm surprised this isn't Mark. Who is this? Ads. Tim Chown. I don't know him. I say that name right? Correct me, Tim, if you ever see this. All right. Steam Up. Standard Edition. 49 US Canadian. Yes, they're in Canada. All right, so $47 for the base. Looks like you don't get the food that is tokens. It's just these little pop-out things, I'm guessing. Punchboard tokens. Stackable steamers. I so want to know what material these are made out of. And I was really, really hoping it would say, plastic or bamboo or something here. Okay. I was hoping for that. I'm going to see if it's anywhere else on the page. Cool. Deluxe edition comes with custom molds in full color. Really, really like that. Ooh, animal scoring tokens. Ooh, you can play as a dragon. I want to play as a dragon. I haven't seen any custom tarts yet, Dave, so you might be out of luck. There is a big squishy steam bun. Serves as an alternative first player marker or to relieve your dim sum craving while you wait your turn to feast. Is this a stress ball? Please say yes. That's awesome. Kevin, 100%. I'm going deluxe edition on this. This is one of those games that it's like, okay, the price difference is $63 versus $47. So what is that, $16? It's $16 for a very, very different tactile experience. Like, this is really cool. And the chicken feet. Oh my gosh. Has anyone had chicken foot stew or soup? I have. Wasn't my favorite experience. Why back now? All right, this is the kind of why back now section I'm looking for, because it's extremely easy to read quickly, even if I'm not going to read all the text. We need you. Kickstarter stretch goals, limited components, promos, and add-ons. The game is for you. An award-winning title. This is a great why back now section. This is the first time I've ever seen this game is for you in a why back now section. It makes sense. Why should you back this game? Because you're going to like it. If you like set collection, if you like variable player powers, if you like action selections, if you like resource control, if you like a little bit of take that, removable for a friendly game. Great, great awareness of your audience to have this right here. And then, of course, award-winning title. Really, really cool. All right, I'm still looking for it. I need someone to tell me what these are made of. Hey, they're doing All Shucks. All Shucks is next weekend, y'all. It's coming up. We're gonna have some live games of Mythic, Mischief, Failed Fate, and Moonrakers going on. All right, shipping. All right, so they do have a split between the deluxe and the standard. I'm a little surprised of that, just because the deluxe edition probably is the same size box. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. There wasn't that much in the box that told me it needed to be bigger. Maybe because of all the tokens it does, but there are tokens in the other game. I'm surprised it's in a different size box, or really a different weight, because plastic components don't add that much weight. So, and it's considerable price increase, $7. So really the deluxe edition is $23 more. Oh, no, it's only $6. So $22 more. Interesting. This is a nice shipping section, though, where they kind of break out the zones. I think that's good. Yep. Really cool. Great page. Do not ship to North Korea or Russia, Central and South America, South Africa, or the Middle East. It's interesting on those two. Do they ship to the rest of Africa? Do they ship to Mexico? Interesting. If your country is not listed in the above shipping table, please message us directly to inquire shipping for your region. VAT and sales tax. VAT and sales tax. Applicable taxes, including VAT and other regional sales, will be associated with the backers region. Okay, cool. New Kickstarter section. Our partners, retailers, staff members. This is really great. They have a great page. First-time pages have been so good this year. You look at this. You look at like the what's the Chicago mob game? No, Scarface, 1920. Just like such good campaigns, such good games. Like the tabletop industry is really in its golden like renaissance. However, it's gonna be hurt by the pandemic. In some ways, it was kind of helped because people were like, "Oh, I'm staying home and won't buy games and play them." But at the same time, like that was already happening, and the shipping delays and the production problems and all this stuff is really hurting, especially the crowdfunding industry of board games. But still, really, really cool to see first-time developers make really, really cool things. So, all right, going back down to the schedule. Delivery is April 2023, so they have plenty of time to figure all that stuff out. That's really far, though. Especially for a game that looks pretty done, it's really far. Okay, for my own sake, I need to figure out what the heck these are made of. You're not going to be able to hear them. Please pick one up. I want to see it. All right, I'm going to have to text Monique and Naveen and be like, okay, what is this? What are they made out of? Because I'm not going to be able to figure it out from this video, but I really want to know. All right, cool. That is Steam Up. Definitely bagging it. Pretty good price. Only negative is pretty far out, but I can be patient. I think it'd be better to have a accurate timeline than to say you're going to be able to do it in 6 months, then actually deliver it in April 2023. So yeah. All right, a couple of honorable mentions that I'm going to go through really, really fast because I'm already 10 minutes past where I usually like to end the show. So Pakamama. That's, I'm not great at pronouncing things. Quechuan farmers constantly guides the Quechuan farmers by specifying the distribution of crops to be planted according to her own logic. Of course, no one would dare transgress the rules dictated by Pakama. So I watched a Pakamama. Not doing it anymore. I watched Jesse, Shira, and Alex play a little bit of this, and then I watched their thoughts video. And one was really excited about it because I actually have been to some Quechuan areas of South America and know a few words in Quechuan. There are actually some pretty common ones used down there. But also it's a deduction game, very much like Search for the Planet X, something like that. And I really like those style games. Cryptid is one that I played recently that I really enjoyed. And so I really, really like this kind of thing. And I thought their page looked really good. It was just, there was too much to cover today in order to cover it. But I would recommend going and checking out this this review by the three of them. And then also they have a gameplay somewhere. I think it's going to be on Quackalope's channel. So I really, really like it. I think this is a great page and you should check it out because it looks like a really great game. They really, really enjoyed it. So, and the other one is For Glory. So this is a reprint, second print. I think I have the first edition over there on the shelf. I should have grabbed it. But I've heard wonderful, wonderful things. Jeremy Howard, was talking about this on Facebook earlier today. And so if you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend it. You're playing as like a gladiator school that's competing against other gladiator schools. And it is a very nice looking game and definitely something that needs some boosting from the industry. And I wish I could have had time to cover it, but there's a lot to cover today. Today was a big day. And then finally, Lords of Ragnarok is coming out on Thursday, I think, a day and 16 hours from now. So very, very excited to look at this. I'm probably going to cover it on Tuesday. I'd love to do a bonus episode on Thursday. I just don't think I'm going to have time. So I'll probably cover it next Tuesday. How many people are following it now? Oh, just 31,000. Not that many people. Dave says, I don't see anyone complaining about Bonus Austin, but we have lost like 10 viewers in the last 10 minutes, Dave. So something to think about. Also, I have a lot more stuff I have to do tonight, and I'm supposed to do dinner with my family in 50 minutes. So I have to end the show here, sadly. We did say last week that we were going to be doing a giveaway for Red Rising, and I didn't do it. And so I'm going to try to do that really quickly, or maybe I should delay it a week. I don't have any of it pulled up. I think I'm going to delay it a week. And apologies, I have not forgotten. We are going to do it, but we're going to extend it a week. I was going to say we're going to add more entries, but I think that wouldn't be fair to the people that commented on the last episode. But you can still go back and watch that episode and comment there if you want to win that copy of Red Rising. So we will give it away. I'm sorry I forgot to do it this morning or set it up this morning, but we will definitely still be giving it away. So thanks everyone for watching. Kevin says he has a quick question before you go. How many MacBook Pros did Ivy Studio order yesterday? That is a great question. Most of what we have been ordering has been custom PC builds. So we love Mac, and a lot of us use Mac privately. However, Mac was not keeping up with the power needed to do 3D rendering en masse. So they were ordering lots of custom computers. I actually learned how to build computers right before I got into board games. So I was like assembling, all the different parts that we got. Build computers. Nerds say that, but they're just assembling the pieces. It's not like they're building a computer from scratch. But it was very fun assembling all of that. So I think they're definitely considering the new MacBooks and stuff. I think almost all of us have MacBooks and iPads and things like that. But then I have a computer right here that is for running TTS and stuff because TTS just doesn't work great on an iMac or MacBook Pro. So anyway, very, very good hanging out with you. Thank you so much for watching. All of those campaigns were great. There were a couple of things where I just wasn't sure why they did it that way, but overall they're doing amazing. And I'm very, very excited to get all of those games. So join in. All right. Thank you all for watching. Friday, I don't have a guest quite yet for Ivy Games Weekly. If you have someone that you want us to talk to, please reach out in the Discord to let us know who we should talk to, and we'll get them on the show. Thanks everyone for watching.